What's going on, guys? Coach Curto here from Icons. It's been a long time between videos, and there's been a lot going on, back over here in Russia, and it's an interesting experience coming back to a place for the third year. This is the last year on my contract so far, and it's going to be an interesting 12 months. Haven't been able to kind of produce the results that I was expecting with the side over here, but there's so much potential, and the foundation that we've been able to plant is massive. But it brings me to the kind of topic I want to discuss today around kind of your emotional connection towards results or towards an outcome. And it's really there's been about 5 or 6 different scenarios for me over the last probably 3-4 months that have come into fruition about this emotional connection, and it's really kind of hitting different aspects. A couple of off-field, a couple of on-field, a couple around like business decisions and stuff like that around footy and networking and teams and coaches changing clubs that I've been associated with, and there's just a lot that's gone on around this emotional connection, and it's kind of got me to think a lot about why people make decisions and how people's reactions and decisions implicate, I guess, what you're thinking and kind of lead you to either think the right things or wrong things, and how being emotionally connected too much to a kind of result or an outcome, or letting your emotions take over what is it, kind of what you're actually about. So what I'm meaning in that is, so often we let our emotions dictate how we're thinking, feeling, or our rationalization of actions or events. And it's really come about recently that I'm finding a lot of us, especially myself and other coaches I'm involved with and some players, let the emotion take over what is the actual points. What is, if you were to take yourself out of the situation and look over it, is it really that important? Is it worth that kind of emotional energy or time or investment because you're upset that something didn't go your way, or you're upset that someone's done something that you didn't agree with, or you feel as though you're hard done by, yet the actual event of that and the actual results of that outcome don't actually affect you in any manner. It's emotionally affecting you, but it doesn't change your ability to perform, or your ability to stay on with your job, or your ability to basically get things done. And it's really I've watched it happen, and we kind of see things as though if we put time or energy into something, we're owed something. I see it a lot. Coaches will invest in players, and if players aren't loyal, or players don't respond to the same value back, that we think, oh, he's not loyal, or he's done something wrong, or he's done this. Yet at the end of the day, just because we feel as though our emotional connection or our emotional involvement is worth X doesn't mean the other person does. You might give someone 10 to 15 hours of one-on-one time, and you're expecting them to be loyal to you because you've done something for them. And it just doesn't work like that. It's just not, just because you're giving, just because you perceive your giving value of, 100, doesn't mean the person receiving it thinks it's 100. And why should you give, why should they receive something from you and expect to give it back? It's just not like that anymore. It's just not it's not a you scratch my back, I scratch your back kind of world, especially in rugby. It's gone to a business situation where everything is transactional and everything has a value. And even though you might give someone a lot of time and do a lot of things for them, doesn't mean you're going to get the same, value back. It's like, you go buy a Happy Meal from Macca's, doesn't mean you're getting the nutritional value. Do you know what I mean? It's just because you're spending time or investing into something doesn't mean you're going to get a return. And I think, as though I know myself and other people that I've dealt with over the last 6 months are heavily engaged in this. Well, I've done so much for them, and look what they've done to me. Oh, I've done so much for them over the years, and they haven't done anything back for me. And it's I didn't realize it until probably in January this year, where, man, that's so wrong. We're setting ourselves up for failure and distress, and we're emotionally attached to an event, an action, or a process that doesn't warrant that investment. You know, it's kind of like if we're giving time to someone or we're giving energy, it should be just that. Like, take away the fact that you're expecting things in return. Take away that expectation and just go, I'm helping this person because that's what I do. And if you're not like that, then don't invest so much emotion into helping. You know, if you want to be emotionally connected to something and help them because you want something back from them, or you expect them to do a good favor or a good deed by you, then I think in this modern world, you're setting yourself up for failure. Or there's no problem with doing that, but if it doesn't come, don't get so emotionally attached to it. You know, if people want to ride emotional roller coasters and be vindictive or do wrong things by you, just let it go. Like, it's kind of like, okay, cool, man, he didn't choose my club, he didn't choose my team, too easy. Like, I'm okay without it. And I noticed for myself, I've been able to take a kind of nothing troubles me kind of attitude in the basis that if people don't do what I expect them or have wanting from them because I've done so much for them, it's okay. Like, that's their choice. My plan, my vision, my integrity doesn't change. And I think a lot of people are losing that, where they're not bigger than what they're actually giving. So for me, I know that if I help someone and I give them hours and hours of my time and they don't come back with the same loyalty or same opportunity to give value back to me, that's not my fault. Like, that's them, and I'm okay with that, because I don't give my energy and my time because I want it back. I give it because I have something to give. And the value is in just being able to deliver, I guess, an understanding or an experience or something to someone else that I know when I was younger I didn't have, or if I did have it, I wasn't open to it. I didn't have people sitting there going, hey man, you should probably think about that. You know, this decision you're about to make, yes, I know you want to do it because of these 5 things, but long term, in 4, 5, 6 years time, you're going to be wishing you didn't make that decision if this thing goes wrong, and there's a high chance it's going to go wrong. Or if you don't maintain X, you know, if you don't maintain all this hard work, then you're not going to be able to have what you want right now. So make sure you're planning for that situation, because you can't keep that up. And it just brings me to that emotional connection that we just tie in so much, I guess. We want to be recognized, we want to be loved, we want to be taken care of so much. Like, it's the number one, I think for me, the number one human driver. I know it is for me and a lot of other people, is we just want to be appreciated, and we just want people to fucking love us and show us love back, that we really we double down on when that doesn't happen. So the negative side of that becomes 3x, because we're putting so much, I guess, value on when it does happen. So, you know, it's just something I've seen a lot with players. I've seen it a lot with players, especially, you know, in this club that I'm involved with over here in Russia. You know, when players are recruited to the new place, the old players feel as though they're not worthy. You know, I've had coaches who have left clubs and gone back to other clubs, and other coaches who've helped those coaches are now pissed off, feeling as though they've been let down. And it's kind of like, man, like, I understand where you're coming from, but it's not, like, is that really worth that emotional connection? Like, is that worth being upset about? Is that worth tying in your own stresses and your own negativities towards something that, like, is really probably an opportunity versus a negative? It's finding that silver lining, and everything does. But if you're constantly wanting to feel as though people appreciate you, you're going to find the negative, because you're looking for something that always isn't there. Instead of going, wow, cool, he appreciates me, you're going, well, why doesn't he appreciate me? And that one simple question, what you ask yourself, can dictate a huge emotional energy on what you're giving. So just remember that, guys. It's not, try and be more about, wow, he appreciates me or she appreciates me, and not be so much about, why doesn't he? The why doesn't will cause so much drama and negativity versus the wow, he does. All right, guys, so that's a little bit from me. I'm out. Coach Kurto. Peace.